Hello everyone! Welcome once again to Brandao Collection. Today we have an exciting new autograph pickup. It's a piece that we would consider to be a Grail piece. So stick around and we'll take a look at that right after the jump. All right, so jumping right into things, today we have an exciting piece just added to the collection, a piece that I would use the word Grail for, and we'll talk about that as well, that particular term. But before we jump into things, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new content. We're always posting some very exciting things here on our channel, whether it is autographs or 1/6 scale collectibles or many other pop culture related collectibles. So let's actually jump right over and we'll talk about not only the piece that we just got in, but also that term Grail and how it's used in the collecting community. So let's first talk about the piece that we got into the collection. So the piece that we got today is something that I actually picked up through the Autograph Universe sales group on Facebook. Now, if you haven't heard of it before, there is a group on Facebook, as I mentioned, called Autograph Universe, and that is kind of your one-stop place for everything you need to know about being part of the autograph collecting community, whether that is seeing what other pieces people have, sharing and enjoying and kind of going out there and being a part of that community and talking about different topics that affect the collecting community, and also being the first to know when it comes to new signings that SWAU is offering, whether that be big gigantic signings from Marvel characters or Star Wars or any other types of pop culture related stuff. Even recently they had announcements for cast of House of Dragons, so many other types of pop culture. Now, as part of that community, they also have an off branch called the Sales Group, and through that sales group, each piece that is uploaded that is sold by community members is vetted to pass authentication. So these are authentic autographs being sold through this Facebook group. Now, as part of this group, one day, just kind of going through there and of course talking to fellow friends and moderators as part of that group, a piece came up that I had been looking for a very long time. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned it here on this channel before, and I know some of my friends will know, is that I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson, and her autograph has become more and more expensive as time has gone on, especially since she hasn't done a private signing yet. And when pieces come up, they're expensive, and it's kind of pick and choose of what type of shots actually got signed in the past. And of course, Marvel shots are going to be your top of the line. Those are going to be the really most expensive ones, but there's also other ones mixed in there. This shot came up for a very good price, was authenticated by SWAU, by their lead authenticator, and said, okay, you're good to go. This piece is real. Go ahead if you want to go ahead with it. So I jumped right on it, purchased it from this seller who was actually in the UK. So it took a while for that piece to get to me once I purchased it, but once it was in hand, I absolutely love it. And it's this piece right here, signed by Scarlett Johansson herself. This is actually one of the specific shots that I wanted to get her on, and I'm happy to have this. The piece is slightly larger. It's maybe like 8 by 12 size. It's kind of a weird size, and it's on like a cardstock. So that's why the pen that's on there just looks like just a basic pen that she signed her name in on here. But I'm really happy to add this Scarlett Johansson piece to my collection. I do have one other Scarlett Johansson piece in my collection other than this one. That's actually this one I'll show here on the screen is the other piece I had already, and I actually sold off a third piece that I used to have now that had just kind of matted into this weird format with a Black Widow shot, but it wasn't actually on a Marvel piece. It was just kind of matted weird on there, but we have sold that piece. So right now we just have the 2 modeling shots here, and hopefully sometime in the future we can add a Black Widow specific shot to the collection. So those are the 2 Scarlett Johanssons I have, especially the one that I wanted to talk to you guys about today that we just got in. But what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to talk about that term Grail, and we'll dive a little deeper into that. So if you want to stick around, we'll jump from there. But if not, you can actually jump right to this time code, get to the outro from there. But if you want to stick around, we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. So stick around, we'll talk about that after the jump right here. Okay, so if you stuck around, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to have a little discussion about the term Grail. So Grails are kind of a tricky subject, and that term is thrown around throughout the entire collecting community. Not just autographs. Of course, we're talking about autographs today, but the 1/6 scale community throws out the term Grail. Even sports collectors throw out that term Grail. And what is a Grail? Now, that means something completely different to everybody. It's completely subjective of what that means. And to some people, it's based on how much that piece costs. So if that piece costs over a certain dollar amount, then it's a Grail. If that piece has a deep personal connection to that person, it's a Grail. And that term is thrown around. You'll see it across YouTube, across other different social media. People use that term kind of as the jump on that clickbait type of title. But at the end of the day, a Grail is really just specific to that person. It may not have the exact same meaning to me as it does to you. Or maybe these 5 people over here, it means this one thing, and then these 5 people on the other side, it means something completely different. So it's really kind of subjective at the end of the day for that. So it's really kind of up to you to think about that. Now, me personally, I kind of use Grail in the kind of funny sense, because that term is thrown out so willy-nilly in that case, that I kind of use it in a funny way, since I personally don't really use that term in my daily talking. When I'm talking to fellow collectors, I don't use that term. It's kind of a inside joke per se, but that doesn't look down on anybody who does use that term. Now, if you want to use that, that's fine by you. And that's great that you're excited to add a piece to your collection. You're excited to have this, and you want to express just how important that piece is to you and to your collection. And that's fantastic. And as we've talked about before, your type of collecting is not the same as the next person. You may collect something that I don't collect. I collect something that you don't collect. Or my collection might be slightly larger or smaller than your collection. And that doesn't make it any better or make it any less important. Everybody's collection is, once again, subjective to you. If you love your collection, that's all that matters, is that you love it. It doesn't matter how somebody else feels about it. If you love the pieces that you own and you look at them and that brings you joy, that's what this is all about. It's not about how other people feel, it's all about how you feel. And don't overstretch yourself. Don't spend money on stuff just because you want to feel more important, per se, or you want to have a larger collection than somebody else. Spend money when you can spend money. Don't push aside the more important things. Don't push aside your family, your home, your food. Make sure that you're being responsible, but at the same time doing something that it maybe is a little better release to get away from the real world for a little bit. Be able to give you that little boost of happiness in your life, but at the same time be able to live your life comfortably and, of course, move that happiness onto the people that you love as well. So that's kind of our little parting piece as we kind of bring the Grail conversation together, and also talk about a little bit these different pieces and your life in the collecting world. So if you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments below. I like having these types of conversations with our community and talking about things that maybe other people aren't talking about. And also let us know by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, of course, and also hitting that bell notification to be notified when we post new videos. We have more exciting conversations and pieces coming to the collection very soon, so stick around here at Brandao Collection for everything you need to know about collecting. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep on collecting.